Hello and welcome back, fellow foolish mortals, to the most foolish channel on the internet. Hi, how are you? So if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, please make sure to click the link in the description, and I'll also start you off with part 1 up here for you. So let's crack on. I left you off in the last land in the main evil domain by the lake. So now we're going to go to our left into Corrupt Kingdom. We'll go through a massive drawbridge area. There'll be 2 separate drawbridges, so 2 separate entrances. But the main entrance will have the magic mirror welcoming you and telling you sort of what to expect. And the entire facade will look somewhat like a castle, sort of a traditional castle. And as you enter, you will see either side there are trees and trees of hearts with little red roses. There will be a massive stage, and that stage will have villain shows, and that'll be the villains that are going to be in this park mostly. So to the left, as you go through this aisle before you get to those trees, we'll have a castle facade that you can enter into and have villainous snacks and drinks. And then to the left, you'll have 2 different meet and greet areas with 2 surprise villain guests, whether that be sidekicks or one of the main villains. But let's continue left to right around the edge as we usually would. So first off, we have Easement's secret lair, and I want this ride to exist so much. So I'm sure you are familiar with Emperor's New Groove. Easement actually goes to the secret lair with Kronk. That's sort of what this is based off. So we're going to have this ride vehicle here, and what will happen is it'll have a track on the back and a track on the bottom, so that you can go down in a drop tower-like sense, but then also continue through as though you are on a normal traditional ride. So the entire queue area will be basically you going through the traditional sort of castle that you would see in Emperor's New Groove, but Easemified. The actual ride itself, once you get on, you'll go into sort of a showroom type area, and this sort of pre-show will be behind a glass, I suppose, and Easement will be very much like, hello these people here, what are they doing here?
Oh, I thought you said you wanted a secret lair tour.
Why would I say that, Kronk? Type thing, and it's all a big misunderstanding. So she wants to get rid of the guests essentially, and she'll be like, get rid of them, and then he'll be like, oh, which one? She'll be like, I'm not the one with the secret lair, the other one, the one with the crocodiles. And he'll be like, oh, I don't feel good about sending these off to, you know, the crocodile. And she'll go, pull the lever, Kronk, and then he'll pull the lever and she'll scream, wrong lever, as guests then plummet down a track and then into a really fun, swirly, up and down, bumpy type ride. All very fun for the family, until we then come into a little show area where Easement and Kronk animatronics will be, and then Easement will turn and get one of the potions, throw it at the guests, which of course will be water or something like that, and then guests will then turn to be in front of a long mirror, and there'll be some sort of a filter on their face where they will go across, so your face will be, each person's face will be a different animal essentially in a filter like fashion. And then next to this and slightly behind will be a Kronk show where he will be there in a wood facade, and it will be outside sort of seating on long benches, all quite wooden looking, and he will be bringing on different animals and teaching you how to speak like a certain animal. Squeakum, squeakum. Like, how did you say, oh, get away from a panther? And go, ah! And then obviously everyone goes, ah! But also bringing on real animals and birds and such, and have like a comedy moment as well with the audience. Moving on to the mirror maze, and this mirror maze would be like a really cool mirror maze. So it'll have 3 stories. So the entrance will be very much like the dungeons. There'll be projections of the mirror, there'll be the hag. Feel free to pause it and have a look. There'll be the hag, there'll be all sorts, and then you'll go up to the next level, and then it will be the Queen's room, and then you'll go down to the next level, and that'll be like a garden sort of space, and then you'll come out into the actual sort of gardeny type area. And then there's that garden area will sort of lead on to these heart-shaped trees, and we're going to have crazy croquet. So this will be croquet, and I've made up the entire rules. I've done all the courses, so please pause and have a look if you want to see that further. So basically it acts like crazy golf, but we're playing it like croquet. So I think that'd be a really cool experience, and I feel like if you're the winner, you win like a treat or something like that, and this is going to be completely free. Like, because I've got cast members at the front and the back to collect their mallets and balls and such like that, and the hedgehogs that the ball goes under will be completely stationary, so they're unable to be moved. And I themed each of the courses very like Alice in Wonderland / Queen of Hearts-y. And that would be really cool sort of photo opportunities for people to go around as well. So as you can see, I've created 2 different courses, but they're exactly the same, they're just laid out slightly different. So that means that a cast member can be like this family, this side, next family, that side, so that each family then have a chance to go around a bit better. And the initial talk would be a couple of minutes with the rules and handing over the mallets and the scorecards and having a bit of an interaction, just so that other families can carry on going forward if they're still on that course. And then across from that we have toilets, and then across from that we have the Sherwood Forest. So the Sherwood Forest is going to be like a walk-through rather than a maze, but it will act similarly to a maze, so there will be moments that you can miss and dead ends, but mostly it will be a walkthrough which will be sort of conducted. And as you can see, I've got certain concept to it where Sir Hiss is asking you to go into the Sherwood Forest and retrieve the gold for Prince John, and at the end you find the gold. And so he will be at the front and he'll be at the back. You'll have the Sheriff of Nottingham, you'll have Bridge to go over, you'll have the Gypsy Caravan, you'll have Prince John in the mud, Mummy! And then around the back of that, we've got a Cruella attraction. I did consider King Candy. I wanted this to be a Cruella attraction and King Candy to be a different attraction, so I'm going to get onto that soon. It's going to be very similar to a very fast attraction where you just suddenly bolt. So you're going to be in a car, as you can see, and go around the snowy area looking for the dogs, and you'll swerve off the path and break the fence and all that sort of thing, and there'll be paw prints in the snow and that sort of thing. But it's going to be really, really fast. It'll be really, really fun, but it's not going to be overly extreme in the way that the track moves, like such as not upside down. And then along from this, you have the entrance to the next land, but then also the King Candy car crashes. I like to hurt my mouth apparently with tongue twisters. Try saying that fast 5 times. So this is basically dodgems. I just thought it'd be really fun to have those as dodgems and all themed to different cars that you might see in Wreck-It Ralph, the Candy Sweetland bit. But actually in front of that, as you go around, one of the main facades you're going to see is going to be Scar atop that really long pointy mountain thing that he is on at the end of the Be Prepared song from obviously the cartoon, and he goes up, and we're going to have hyenas either side on their cliff mountain things, and you'll go into over a bridge and into a queue area, and you'll go into the elephant graveyard and through the elephant graveyard skull and the bones and such. But it's going to be a classic wooden roller coaster. It's not going to be overly thrilling, but it will definitely be thrilling enough that the entire family can enjoy this ride. From that, you have the Star Ride attraction. So this will spiral up to the top, and then the attraction will then start, but it will be a ride. The queue itself will be very interactive. You'll have the Iago animatronic again, you'll have a big red time turner thing that you can turn, you'll have a genie black magic lamp that you can rub a little bit so smoke will come out, like red smoke will come out of that. You'll have a little photo opportunity that you can have where you have Scar's scepter. You'll have a digital filter face thing with his beard and hat. I think it would just be a really fun interactive thing to have. The ride itself, you'll actually go around twice, so this is going to be more of a children friendly ride. So you'll go around a big time turner inside the show building. There'll be a Jafar animatronic laughing, and it will be all themed to that cobra that he turns into in the cartoon. You'll go around, swirl around a bit, and then you'll come back through the station, go around again, but then now that Jafar animatronic has turned into a genie. So I think that would be a really fun attraction. So it's exactly the same but slightly different, and I think that's something that's really good for like a child's first roller coaster, for instance. And then behind that there'll be an Iago and Jafar statue that you can have photos by, and then behind that will be a really long buffet type restaurant. So this will also have the occasional sidekick, meet and greet dining experience type thing. So like Kronk, Smee, Pain, Panic, Lucifer, those sort of people, all of like the evil sidekicks, but also a really fun buffet, and then the buffet be themed to the different characters that the entire area is themed to. For instance, Queen of Hearts puddings, and maybe an apple pie, some spinach puffs. So let's go to the back into the towers. As you walk into the towers, you'll see right in the middle that there are these massive 2 towers and this area, and then another area at the back, and it all look very castle-like. So as you go through the archway area of the actual castle, you can go either left to Mother Gothel or to the right to Frollo. And to the left, if you are to go onto that ride, there'll be a drop tower with a screen around it. So this would be a roller coaster type drop tower. So you'd be on a track and go up and down and then spin and round. Up like a full-on experience, but it's just up and down with maybe some spinning because it's a roller coaster type attraction. But it will be screens around it, and it will be themed to Rapunzel's tower, and Mother Gothel will be there, and then at the very end you'll fall out of the tower with Mother Gothel. And it'll be the same sort of thing over on the other side of Frollo, and then that will have the Frollo experience. So he'll go around the Notre Dame tower, the bell tower, and then eventually fall. As you fall, and the rides will be the same sort of length. In the queues, you'll have the animatronic of Mother Gothel and animatronic of Frollo. They will be different enough that people will want to go on both rides, because the actual experience will be different, similar to how Indiana Jones and Dinosaur are the same track, same ride vehicle essentially, but people love to ride both. And then if you go in the middle and forward, you'll go to a lovely courtyard with pretty flowers and some nice benches and a lovely little water feature. And then if you come out and around to the side, you can enter into this massive indoor play area for children. So they'll have an area that you can have some snacks, have a sit down, get some sort of like quick drinks and junk food just over the counter. And then you'll have a 2-story play area this side into a castle, and a 2-story play area this side into a castle that children can go up and down. Fun. And then if you are to continue out of that and just keep going forward, you'll see a little garden area with a water feature, which will look really pretty, that you can just walk around. And then you'll have this big stage, which will actually be inside like a full-on show. It will be like a theatre, and it will be the Descendants show, so it will have the main Descendants cast and some villain guests, and also they'll be like that in the Isle of the Lost, and that'll be what it's sort of themed to, is their time in the Isle of the Lost, and there'll be songs, familiar songs and new songs, and it'll be very dancey, very fun, very energetic. So we've gone through, but now we're going to go around left to right in that land. So we're going to have a Meet Mickey and Minnie indoor experience of them dressed up as a king and a queen. And then right in the corner we've got Gaston's Tavern, and that's, you know, the typical Gaston Tavern. And to the side we're going to have meets with Gaston and LeFou. And then over the other side, so if we could go to the right, we've got a Meet Chip and Dale in their princely medieval uniforms, and this will be outside. And then you've got Meet Goofy as a jester or something, another medieval type thing right next to that, also outside. Across from the towers you have Ye Olde Village, but this whole area again would be very medieval themed, and around the sides it will look again very medieval and castle-esque. So from the tower's entrance, but we can also enter here from Corrupt Kingdom, we'll see lots of different mini buildings that you can look into. A glass making demonstration, a woodworks demonstration, a blacksmith's demonstration, and a candle making demonstration. And there'll also be an area where you can get snacks, medieval themed type snacks. And each of these ones as well, they'll also have a little shop where you can also purchase some of the bits that they're making too. Right in the centre will be a really super cool ride, which is themed to Diablo from Maleficent. And what you'll do is you'll sit in one of his winged things. You will fly, and you'll basically do consistent 360 loops whilst spinning. So like he's going, wait, how do I demonstrate this? So for instance, you may be sat here on the Diablo ride, and he will do this as he's going around in a circle on a flat ride. And that's really, really fun. I would probably suggest to not eat before going on this specific ride. But let's go left to right. So in the corner of the left, we have a Marvellous Mad Madam Mim sing-along songs. So, because again, I don't like using my mouth for some reason for certain things. I like to punish my mouth when I speak. So the Marvellous Mad Madam Mim sing-along. Seriously, try and say that fast 5 times. Marvellous Mad Madam Mim sing-along. Marvellous Mad Madam Mim sing-along. Blah, 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 blah. This will be sort of your normal type of villain song, and it'll be like words and stuff. She'll have a bit of a show, some hijinks and fun, and she will sort of lead that. And then across from there, next to that, will be a medieval themed restaurant, a very sort of sword in the stone type medieval themed restaurant. And at the back, we have this big boat ride, which will be themed to the sword in the stone type story, but pre the actual Arthur bit. So the story of how the sword got to be in the stone. But basically, I want Madam Mim and also Merlin to be the voices as though they're on the boat with you, on your boat as you go along. I want there to be fun hijinks, so there'll be lots of funny tidbits and nights, and we'll have the Lady of the Lake as well, that whole story. But it's going to be like a fun story attraction, with like funny moments as well, but all guided by Merlin and Madam Mim, and maybe they'll have an argument or two because you know what they're like. And then at the end, we'll be able to get off the boat ride, and then a little bit further on from that, we'll see the sword in the stone, but it'll be covered by the vines as per the story, and that's a good place for a photo opportunity. And just next to that will be the Madam Mim meet and greet. So then next to that, the exit of that ride, there will be a nice big gift shop. There will be a Mother Gothel meet and greet within that shop, but obviously a queue in a separate area. And then to the other side, where we have just entered, there will be all of this wall, and they'll have funny bits of armour along that wall, and maybe some snoring knights. And then next to that will be a traditional sort of medieval type band that will be doing their thing, and then also occasionally in that same spot a medieval medical demonstration, but family friendly, of course. So what I'm going to do now is take you back into that bold mountain area, and what we're going to do next is go into the next land. Are you coming with me? It's beautiful, it's weird, it's dark, it's creepy and imaginative. It's Destino. So if you haven't watched Destino, it is a project that Walt Disney did with Salvador Dali, and I want that entire land to be quite small but dedicated to that short art film. This will be accessible through an archway near Phantom Manor, and we'll go through a dark, twisty, creepy type walkway until it then blends out into this weird and beautiful and artistic land. There'll be large statues of optical illusions from Dali. There'll be that big statue from Destino in that triangle. There'll be profile faces that when you're in the right angle it looks like a ballet girl. There'll be at the centre a twisty building of white with that water feature in the middle, which is from the film, and I want that of him, you know, the cricket guy. Guests can walk up this swirl of a walkway, so they will go up the steep walk-through and then look down, and there'll be those eyeballs looking back at them, and guests will then walk through this shell into basically a ride queue area, or they can bypass that shell and go down a series of Escher type staircases, or just go back down the ramp again if people don't have access to those staircases. And then also we'll have a sort of a weird play area which is also suitable for adults, such as like a bridge of a mounting clock with a slide, and also those long-legged elephant things and rhinos. Those animals are always really long-legged. But the ride itself, where you've gone within the shell area, will be a trackless ride, and I want it to feel almost like that Beauty and the Beast ride that they have now. But it'll be very much a sensory experience with music, and the dandelions flying. I want the wind, I want the whooshing, I want to be able to swirl, I want it to feel like a dance through these different show scenes, and I want the actual show scenes to feel like you are within that film. And whilst you're within the queue, I want that film to be showing, because not enough people know about it. I want there to be like smooth animatronics, the dancer, the blending, shadows coming in to wrap around like a dress. I want it to be really, really cool and really like immersive and weird and amazing. And I think that that's really what this whole film was about, and it has that sense of sadness and creepiness to it, which is why I think it would genuinely fit in really well in that area. So what I'll do now is I'll take you through the last two lands that are within this actual park. So the last two lands are both circus themed. You can access these through Despino, and you can also access one of these through the Disney Hotel, which I'll talk about in a different video. From Destino you can actually enter Pleasure Island from Pinocchio. So we'll have, up on the facades, we're going to have those clowns being like big and creepy, and I want there to be meets of Honest John, Gideon, Stromboli, you know, Lampwick. So we're going to have a traditional fortune teller in a case, not like the people one, the mechanical ones. And then along from this, maybe like a strong man type photo op. This is all going to be very like carnival themed. I want one of those cards where they have like the faces cut out, but all very like Victorian-esque. I suppose like I want this to feel like a vintage carnival Pleasure Island mesh up. And I think it'd be really fun. So you know when you go to like a British old carnival, I want that feel, but also mixed with Pleasure Island. And then on from here we'll have a place to buy candy floss and drinks and snacks and all those sorts of things. So right in the centre we're going to have a big traditional, maybe slightly worn looking Ferris wheel, and behind this again that sort of theme helter skelter, and then I want a petting donkey zoo, so I want people to see the donkeys and be able to pet them because Pleasure Island. And then to the left of the helter skelter as well, I want to have you know, the traditional caterpillar rides, you know, the ones that used to go like around like this really fast and like a track, not looking like a caterpillar, but they were just, you know, the old vintage ones, and then they'd have like that cover that would come over them. I want that there. So it's like really old-fashioned type vintagey rides. I also want to have, to the left, to the wall, I want to have Huck a Duck prize every time, and obviously to have to pay for slightly. And then I want to have those ones where you have to throw a ball and it goes through their mouth and again win a prize if you get those. And those bottle smashing games, again having to pay to do that. I think that would be a really, really fun carnival feel to it. Along from here as well, we can have one of those glass case puppet show things where you press a button and the puppet show starts, and maybe multiple few of those. I think that'd be a really, really fun experience, especially for like younger children. And to the back of the land there'll be a huge building, and on this building, on the facade, there'll be a big balloon, and there will be a drop tower type basket for children to be in, like very like small children. And then inside the building, you're coming inside the building with me now, there'll be the traditional pier, like a 2-penny drop. There will be a pinball type game, and I want it to be the vintagey one, so I'm not having like, you know, the new cool type pier games. We can also have like those pools or snooker that you can play by putting like a pound in or something and having those balls come out. And then along the side of that I want like paintings that look like they've been destroyed by people doodling on them or giving them like cigarette burns, like similarly to Pinocchio. And also I want a place to have food, and in that food area I want to have things like fish and chips and battered sausage, like seaside food. And then along from here we're going into the last land, which is the only land that you'll have access to from the hotel at direct, but that'll be the WDP Circus. So this will just be a land which you can access through the towers or from Pleasure Island, and it will basically be an area with a huge circus tent where it will be a Buffalo Bill style show but with circus. So it will be like as the Cirque du Soleil, comedy acts, clowns, and maybe the ringmaster from Dumbo all like had a baby. But I want it to also be like a dinner while you watch, which is why I want that access from the hotel, so it's like easier to get to, and the access on the towers so that you can just cut through almost straight across to this tent and just to watch this really cool show. To the left there will be cages of animals, but they won't be real animals, they'll be like made up. They'll be in cages like these funny things to look at, like little motion animatronics and with funny names and what they do. So within this show I want to have like Mickey Mouse, I want to have Donald, Goofy, Minnie, Daisy. I want them all to come in at one point and have like their moment and get some audience interaction. I want the whole thing to be audience interaction, but I want people to actually come out onto the stage itself or the bottom area to have whatever the fun is that they're having, like attempting to juggle. In the land itself, I want there to be multiple different photo opportunities, like caravans, tents, clowns, maybe some creepy clowns, the ringmaster from Dumbo. I want all that sort of stuff to be given on lots of photo opportunities. I want people to feel like it's a fun place to walk around, even though there's not going to be any rides there and it's just going to have like a show. I do wonder if it might be quite cool, like after the show, to have an area where Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, all those cool lot can all have their ringmaster outfits and clown outfits and all that sort of thing, and trapeze outfits, and maybe have like a photo opportunity. So that's my entire Disneyland. I haven't got on to the village, but that's also really exciting, I feel like, with a lot more opportunities to have really fun experiences and games and interactions, so I'll get onto that on a different video. And I also haven't got onto our hotels yet either, or the water park. It's not that I am asking for much, but please can we make this a reality Disney? I want this to come out of my brain and be planted in actual form of reality. But I hope you've enjoyed my series so far. That is the park basically now completed. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with my drawings anymore. Maybe I send them off to Buena Vista and just be like, make this a reality please. But yes, I hope so much that you have enjoyed all of these lands. Tell me what your favourite part was, I suppose, or what you wish I had added, or a different land that could have been. And while you're down there, leave a thumbs up because I like that. So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye!